Hello, my name is Dr. Christopher Amoruso, and welcome to my website and the home of Pagoda Chiropractic and Holistic Center. I'm here tonight to introduce you to our practice and give you a little insight into what we have to offer. First of all, I'm going to give you a little background as to how we practice here and how it's a little bit different than the traditional allopathic medical approach. We are not a symptom-based practice. We are more of a holistic practice. And what that really cuts down to the core of is that we all have different challenges with our health that we deal with during our lives that are based on our own individuality. Not only our genetic individuality, but our lifestyle, how we eat, whether we exercise, what stresses we have, whether we've been through emotional trauma, physical trauma. These things can affect what I like to call the triumvirate of health: our physical and structural well-being, our emotional and spiritual well-being, and then thirdly, our lifestyle and our diet and that interaction with our unique genetic makeup. These things are mostly ignored by allopathic medicine. And what I mean by that is when we go to a doctor with a symptom, whether it be a headache or gastrointestinal symptoms, the approach is often to prescribe a drug or to say, hey, you need surgery. We've got to take this organ out, or we've got to perform this procedure. And what never is really looked at is the unique individual person who's sitting there with the complaint. So I think that's something that sets alternative care apart from the traditional Western approach. That's number one. A little background on me. I grew up with a father who practiced chiropractic with a strong discipline of nutrition for over 50 years. And he raised our family of 6 children without antibiotics, without vaccinations, without so much as an aspirin. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean my father was against medicine. In fact, we would often talk about how he admired what they could do with surgeries to save people's lives, or people who have been involved in trauma or other emergency type care. But what he felt strongly about is that if we addressed the actual individual person and looked at what they were doing wrong or what they were missing, we could correct and avoid some of the pitfalls that would lead eventually to surgery or more invasive and more serious procedures. So I don't want to seem anti-medicine. I'm not. I have a great respect for what medicine has to offer. But I think with that said, chiropractic, nutrition, other alternative therapies like naturopathy and acupuncture and so on have so much to offer. And most of the American population really does not utilize or have any insight into that. And what we do here is we sit down with our patients from day one and we try to get to know them as individual people, find out what their strong points are and what their weaknesses are. And that's where we begin. And we try to look at it from a systems approach. We use the spine to correlate to different parts of the body, what the spine tells us. Maybe the spine is showing that where it is connected to the stomach, there seems to be a problem. And then we investigate further there, and we take a thorough history of the patient and find out how they're eating and ask them specific questions about those symptoms, ultimately leading us back to a root cause. And then those causes can be addressed, and hopefully the lifestyle of the patient altered and improved. Now, obviously, there are more simpler examples. A person falls and they hurt their back or they hurt their neck. That's what most people associate with traditional chiropractic. But that's, in my opinion, an overly simplistic viewpoint. And certainly I feel chiropractic has a lot more to offer when the adjustments are given to the spine and the body in a very specific way that correlates to the areas of weakness that that person may have. We also use a lot of alternative testing, which people are not used to. We use complete digestive stool analysis, which tells us a lot about how a patient may be digesting their food or not digesting their food, whether there's an inflammatory process, whether they have good probiotic bacteria. And more these tests are being used and utilized in our office for conditions that aren't necessarily digestive in nature. In fact, much of the autoimmune genre of diseases are pathologically related to the gut and to leaky gut. And so we can glean valuable information from looking into these systems and analyzing the patient's lifestyle and coming up with an approach that is an individually and very, I guess the word I'm looking for would be very specific to that person to correct and improve that area and allow the body's natural immune system and natural systems that normally handle healing to be able to do their job. And so we do also do nutritional testing, metabolic testing, which we do through Genova Labs, which involves blood work and urine as well. And we tailor this to what the patient's specific needs are. And I think that this is something that's going to become more and more, come more to the forefront of how people are treated. And I think that the more people are exposed to this, the better off they are. So I encourage you to look around on my website, click on some of the links, especially Genova Labs, see what kind of tests they do. Cyrex is another wonderful lab that does a lot of food allergy testing, and it helps us to get insight into the nature of where the body is not functioning well, where the immune system is struggling, and how to correct it. And it also gives us insight into specific vitamin and mineral deficiencies, or even if a person has been exposed to, toxic mercury or other chemicals through dental amalgams or through cigarette smoke, then we can address those things through chelation. I also encourage you to poke around and look at our new book that was originally started by my father. The name of the book is A Legacy of Healing, the Role of Nutrition, Chiropractic, and Other Alternative Therapies in Self-Healing. I think this book is a valuable tool for anybody looking to gain insight into how to improve their lifestyle habits as far as diet is concerned, what they need to know to improve their health, what steps could they take if they have a specific illness, what type of doctor to work with, what type of tests to look for. The book is chock full of protocols for things like the common cold or for intestinal issues, basic things. Of course, we encourage you to find a doctor who is familiar with alternative testing and chiropractic and so forth. But I think the book puts these things together nicely and correlates them in a way that really anybody can benefit. So I do encourage that. And I will, in the future, be posting specific little segments online here at the website for different topics. And I encourage you to peek your head in every once in a while and see what's new. All right. I hope everything is well for you, and have a good night.